Hello everyone, my name is Wesley Mohler, and today I'm going to go over an introduction to asphalt paving. Please feel free to take notes, and then if you have any questions, you can email them to me directly, and I'd be happy to answer them at the email you see on your screen there. Again, the rest of these videos that I'm making for this series will be available on YouTube free of charge. Now we're going to get into equipment that you would see on a grinding and paving spread. The first of these would be grinders. Now, grinders remove existing asphalt either in lifts or entirely, as a pulverizer would. The two you see in front of you would be a cold mill and a micro mill, which are essentially the same machine, except the drum on each of them is different and interchangeable, of course. But a cold mill has fewer teeth that are spaced further out, and a micro mill has more teeth and it's more dense with teeth. So you can pave a smoother surface on top of a smoother ground surface that the micro mill would provide. Now, as far as asphalt paving equipment goes, you can see the spread there on your screen. It starts with the paver, which is on the left, the primary machine. This takes the material from its hopper and places it in a evenly distributed mat, is what they call it, or lift. They can pave at most 25 hundredths of a foot thick, is typically the thickest you want to go. And then the piece of equipment you see in the middle is called a asphalt pickup machine. These machines are designed for what's called bottom dump paving, where you have bottom dump trucks riding in front of your paving spread, dumping windrows, and this machine picks the windrows up from the ground and places it in the hopper of the paver, which is in the front. And then third on the right is a piece of equipment that's becoming more and more popular. It's called an MTV, or material transfer vehicle. The idea behind these pieces of equipment is you can dump the asphalt directly into these and it will mix it up inside of its own hopper and then spit it into the hopper of the paver. This creates a more homogeneous mixture in terms of temperature. So when you pave, your mat isn't going to have cold spots, which are more likely to fail and crack. The next set of equipment we got, which follows right behind the paver and the asphalt pickup machine, would be the rollers. The rollers are used for finishing. The mat or the lift is theoretically in a uniform thickness already, but these rollers provide compaction and kneading after the material is placed. First on the left, you have a dual drum, smooth drum roller. Basically, it's a CB8. These are very common. This is the first roller you'll see right after the asphalt comes out of the paving machine. The second one in the middle is a pneumatic wheel roller, which are basically rubber tire rollers. They don't have steel wheels at all. This roller is specifically designed to knead the material together and not so much provide compaction. And then on the right, we have a single smooth drum roller. These aren't used for asphalt paving. They're more used for grading, so we're not going to cover it. But the third roller you would see on a paving spread would be a pup roller, which is essentially a smaller version of the smooth drum roller, the dual smooth drum roller you see on the left. The final category of equipment we'll go over is skip loaders. Skip loaders are the tool for the trade in terms of being support for an asphalt paving spread. You can see on your screen you got the John Deere 210 and then the Cat equivalent there on the right. What's good about these is if you're slot paving and it's too narrow for a paver or a paving machine to get in there, you can dump it with trucks and pave it out with the Gannon box in the rear. You can also clean up edges. And then on the front, it's nice because you can transport material. In particular, this is handy for bottom dump paving where your windrow might not be consistent. There might be a gap in the coverage, so you can use the front of your skip loader to gather material somewhere else or asphalt somewhere else and place it in that gap. Now we talked about the equipment. Let's talk about the crew behind it. So first you got operators. Operators run all the equipment that we just discussed. Typically this would be an OE2 for here in California, operator class 2. Second would be laborers. Laborers, we're going to see in a minute. They are typically raking, cleaning up the edges, checking for gaps in any coverage as far as the final mat before the roller hits it. And then third, you got the foreman. He's the big boss. He's running the operation, making sure it's efficient, safe, and productive. Now first, when we're removing asphalt, obviously this uses a grinder, not a paver or rollers or any of that, just the grinder and trucks. This grinder that you see in front of you is actually being used as a pulverizer to completely remove the asphalt of an old road so we can go in and pave a new road. This is Highway 41 here in California in this instance. But as you can see, it has this big conveyor belt that spits out the grindings into the end dump truck. Now the key to success with any grinding operation is to keep the trucks rolling. You don't want the grinder to stop for more than a few seconds to switch out trucks. You always want a truck waiting for the one that's being filled. So that it's really critical when you're calculating your loop times and how many trucks you're going to need that you take that into account. Now this next video you can see here is kind of from a further distance away, but you can see he's finishing up his round of grinding, and then he's going to top his truck off and reverse back and start another pass. Now here we go with paving operations. So you can see this is a bottom dump operation, as the dump truck or the truck that's dumping is dumping out the bottom in windrows like we talked about earlier. You've got an asphalt pickup machine there in front of the paver that's picking up that material from the ground, placing it in the hopper of the paver. And then following the paver, you've got your laborers with rakes, and they're checking the edges, checking the mat coming out, ensuring for adequate coverage. And then after the laborers, you have your smooth drum roller that hits it first. This is the dual smooth drum roller we just discussed earlier. This is to get the initial compaction. There's the next load of trucks coming in. And then right after that smooth drum roller, you have the pneumatic roller, the rubber tire pneumatic roller. This is to knead the material together, as we discussed. And if needed, you might also have a pup roller on site as directed by maybe a QC engineer, if you need additional compaction effort, maybe on the lap or something. That's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, or subscribe. And then please email any questions you may have to the email address you saw in the beginning of the video. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you for listening.